presentation on how to use the Rel or relative column in the Cubit Pro software. In the estimate sheet, if you right-click in the description bar here and select Column Chooser, you can drag and drop this Rel column from this customization panel into the estimate sheet at a location of your choice. In this case, I'm going to drop it after the total column here, and I'll close this customization box. What the Rel column allows us to do is transfer additional information out of the calculation sheet into the estimate sheet. For example, we might want to return not only the cubic meter of concrete from the calculation sheet, but also the area that that concrete is going to be placed over, so the ground area for the slab. So what we can do, we can either insert information manually into the calculation sheet, which I'll give you an example of, but we can also take off quantities from the plan and have that go back into the calculation sheet and use the Rel column also. So an example might be if we're manually inputting a slab area. Let's say we've got 3 areas that are 12 meters by 10 meters at 125 mil deep, and we might have a second area which might have two areas that are 8 meters by 6.5. You see we at 125 mil deep. You can see we get a total volume of concrete at the bottom here of 58 cubes, which is returned up to the quantity cell in the sheet above. If I was to click in the Rel column now, you'll see there's a little drop-down box that appears, and we can tell the software that in this case we also want to know what the area is from the dimensions entered into the calc sheet. So if I select area here, you see that it's appending now to the end of the description what the area is from that calculation underneath. So if I was to change one of the values down in the calc sheet, let's say I change the length there to 14, you can see it's not only updated the cubic meter of concrete, it's also updated the information appended to the end of the description, such as the area. So clicking in this drop-down box and selecting different options, so for example if I select length, it gives me the total of the factor by length column. If I selected number of, it's given me the total of the factor column. And I can also select something like description, which will append to the end of the description at the estimate sheet level, the information that you inserted into the calculation sheet. So if I click on the drop down and select and turn that back to area, you can see that we've got the area appearing again there. So when we produce reports such as the trade report or the bill of quantity style report, this information will also appear on the report. So that's one example of how you can enter that information in at the estimate sheet level. You can also add this information down into the calc sheet level as well. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to click on this drop-down box and change that back to a blank entry. And if I come down here into the calc sheet now and once again right-click where the description bar is and select Column Chooser, I'm going to drag and drop the Rel column out into the calc sheet as well. Now this time I'm going to drop it between the subtotal and the negative column here, and I'll close this customization panel. Now the benefit or the advantage of setting up the Rel column in the calc sheet is that you can have multiple result types from the Rel column coming back into the description at the estimate sheet level. So by me selecting area there, you can see we're getting the area of the 14 by 10 by 3 coming back to here now. But I can also tell it, well, I want to know the length of this particular item as well. So you can see we've got the length returning back here also for this individual entry. So the software allows you in the calc sheet to have either the one result type coming back to the end of the description or multiple values coming back into the description. So that's giving you an example of how you can produce that information from a calc sheet or a dimension sheet where you're manually entering that data. We can also do the same if the quantity comes from a takeoff. So for example, I've got an item here, 125 mil slab on ground. I've got a volume result type selected here. So if I was to take off an area now from the plan, so I'll just quickly plot around this particular area here. I'll change my fill to just be outline. Let's say this was a slab area, and I'll right-click and close that shape up. So we've got an area there of 86 cubes, right, which is based on my thickness of 125 mil there. If I also want to know what the area is for that particular shape, I can simply click in the Rel column, select area, and it will append that area back to the end of the description also. So hopefully that gives you an idea of the power of the Rel column. Remember, to turn them on and off, you can just right-click, select Column Chooser, and drag and drop the columns from the customization panel. I hope this presentation has been of assistance. Thank you.